Hi, this is Kimberly Lane. I did my research presentation on a participation in a group project in which you can reflect on the application of psychology and Christian beliefs to tangible problems that exist in your community. I chose Alcoholics Anonymous as my group, as I am a member, and I believe that a lot of it is very Christian related, where I know that a lot of times members don't believe in God and that is their choice. But if you go through the Alcoholics Anonymous book and the Bible, both, it is pulled out of the same. They talk about the same stuff, as I will show you throughout this. As a Christian, I believe that God should come first in all that we do. I feel integration should be the new movement to start placing God where he belongs, first, in front of everything. In thinking about integration of Christianity and psychology, the first thoughts that came to my mind was that AA does that for me. It integrates the Bible and Alcoholics Anonymous all in one. There are many ways that Christianity and psychology integrate in between in Alcoholics Anonymous. This chart kind of shows some of the similarities that, Alcoholics Anonymous teaches that there's a God, there's a higher power. He's called the creator throughout the big book. The Bible tells us that God is everything. The Bible tells us to love others and help others, and Alcoholics Anonymous also teaches to be loving and kind and to help others. Alcoholics Anonymous also tells us to pray and meditate daily to keep spiritually fit, and the Bible tells us to have a relationship with God that we need to pray. There are materials that you can get. For Christianity, the Bible is the Bible, and it tells us all about God. It tells us how we need to live. It teaches us life lessons and all about Jesus. In Alcoholics Anonymous, there is the big book, and there is also all kinds of other literature that tells us many different things. Alcoholics Anonymous tells us all about our behaviors and the psychology part of our behaviors, that we had to ask ourselves why we couldn't apply our human problems to the same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships, couldn't control our emotional natures. We were prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. And in the big book, it tells us that this was not a basic solution of these bedevilments, more important than whether we should see the newsreels of a lunar flight. Of course it was. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. I believe that the bedevilments in the Alcoholics Anonymous book ties into the Beatitudes out of Matthew. Blessed are the poor in the spirit, for their kingdom of theirs is in the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. The book tells us the calling to do all things as unto God demands that whatever we do, psychology included, should be done honestly, humbly, to the best of our ability, and as an act of stewardship and worship. This is also true in AA. They tell us to forgive and to be honest, and in order to fully recover, we need to be honest with ourselves and with God. The steps in Alcoholics Anonymous teach us principles that are found in and throughout the Bible, principles that God has laid down for us to live by. Step 3 teaches us faith. Step 11 teaches us to be spiritual. Throughout the steps, we learn to be honest, to have hope, to have faith and courage, integrity, willingness, to show love and justice, to persevere, and to be spiritual. I do believe that the integration of psychology and theology is very helpful. I think that God provides a way for us to feel comforted. He teaches us how to live and how to treat others. And if we follow the Bible throughout recovery, I believe it forms a stronger foundation so that we can learn a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Having a spiritual experience is very important in recovery. And speaking from my own experience, I had a spiritual experience early on in my recovery, and I think it deeply impacted the fact that I haven't drank since. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous talks about the term spiritual experience and spiritual awakening, and they are used many times throughout the book. It is a personality change that is sufficient to bring about recovery from alcoholism, and it manifests itself among everybody in different forms. Finding God is very important in recovery, and it is a God consciousness that comes along when you work the steps, that you become more aware of God. Anybody can overcome their problems if they can honestly face them. In order to recover, a spiritual concept and an open mind is necessary. Anyone can recover with the spirituality of the program. Willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness are extensions of recovery, and they are indispensable. This is the favorite part of the book in Alcoholics Anonymous. It says that there is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all arguments, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. And that principle is the contempt prior to investigation. That tells me that we need to search and seek and look for God in everything that we do, and incorporating God in anything, psychology, life in general, is very important. God needs to be number one and the most important in our lives. This class was very important, and it taught me a lot about the impact of integration in life in general, but especially psychology. And it is very important, I believe, to incorporate God in everything that we do. God bless.